So I've been around a long time. Most of you probably all know me. So I'm glad to see, as Nick said, we've got so many people here, especially some of our design team for Westbury South and construction team in the front here as well. So any difficult questions, I shall go straight off to them already. So it helps me out a little bit as well. So I was the CM for this job, Westbury South, very, very big job. One of the biggest ones I've done for domestic renewals anyway, and I think for most people as well as we go through the presentation. So I've got quite a few slides to go through here. A lot of photographs, a lot of pictures so we can talk around as well, some facts and figures, but not getting into too much nitty-gritty detail, but that can come through maybe with a question as we go through as well. Okay. So this is a job that was carried out in Christmas last year as a 30-day block. The whole of Westbury was shut for that, and there's quite a lot of work will be done on that. So starting, working already. Right. There we go. I was going up. Turn it around that way. Okay, right. So hopefully you can see at the back. So this is basically Westbury. Where I'm stood now is sort of London end of the job, and you've got massive great yard on the upside and on the downside as well. So this is the downside. That's the upside yard over there. It's also a virtual quarry as well, which is used for a lot of the ballast supply for the West Country. So as you looking at the top there, so off towards the right, that goes towards Taunton, back to Coglow Junction, and to the left, that's the Salisbury lines, goes down to Salisbury. The yard over here you can see is it's basically where all the spoil goes. That's actually run by Network Rail, and the yard there is a DB Schenker yard. Okay, so basically the renewal was from, I could use that little thing there. The renewal was from basically the platform area here all the way up into the extremities of the two lines up there, including drainage works, EMP, loads of signalling stuff, and our signalling CRE as well. So to answer the awkward questions about signalling. So it's just a little view now that's of the existing that's going into the DB Schenker yard. So we've got fixed diamonds there as well. There's 2 fixed diamonds in there and a double slip, as you can see, going into the yard. We'll talk about that double slip in a little while. So loads of really awkward S&C to try and manage. And again, that on that side there is the virtual quarry side with all the MFS wagons. So I'm just going to run through a bit of the scope to start off with from the Pace 1 team. So I'll go through some of the narrative that I've got on there as well, because it's easy. I've tried to highlight it a little bit. So identified early in the project life cycle, there was a lot of links with other ongoing work streams. There's a lot of cabling works being done in the area, and just general renewals. So many workshops held. This job probably started 2 years before Christmas 24, maybe a little bit before that in terms of planning. So once the project scope boundaries were understood, a list of improvements for the area was drafted for investigation in terms of cost feasibility. Again, was this job going to be an enhancement job by the nature and the amount of work in it, or was it going to be included in the domestic renewals work package? So remaining items agreed to be funded partly by efficiencies provided by the access and Schedule 8 budget due to improvements in the area linked to increased performance. So basically it was identified that this would be delivered under the domestic renewals, which is carried out by SRSA. Probably the largest domestic renewals job that I've ever been involved in, rather than an enhancement jobs. Okay, so just up there, I'll go on to the next slide. So there you go. So basically that was the track extent of the renewals, 30 point ends, well, 28 point ends and 2 fixed diamonds. Access. So there was many iterations with regards to the access. There was obviously this job was going to be done in 2 stages, and to keep some of the station open at Westbury, temporary platforms were looked at in terms of going up towards Bradford that way there, but it just didn't happen in the end. It was decided it would be 1 30-day blockade. Okay, Christmas was chosen as the date it was going to be, rather than anyone else in the year. And the efficiency of by a 30-day blockade to break it into smaller, more shorter possessions was over £11 million. And that would have required, again, 6 months of disruptive weekend possession. So that's why I was chosen for 30-day blockade. Okay. And also, the issue was the virtual quarry and getting stuff in and out of the virtual quarry for all the other jobs that were going in the area. So that had to be considered in terms of the planning of the job. Okay. So that was about access and strategic planning of the job. So in terms of design, so this, as I said, this was in the domestic renewal package. So it was being done by the team here in Swindon. So there's a couple of firsts for this job as well. So this is the first job that I was involved in where we actually used the technical approach system, which is a document that we use within ACOM. It's part of a technical execution plan, which is an overall plan for the project or the domestic renewals project. So technical approach document basically is for each discipline, and it identifies, basically understands the scope, deliverables, the competency in order to deliver the job in terms of the staff that we've got, resource availability, any non-compliances. It's quite a detailed document, and we do this for all of our jobs now, the technical approach. And it paid dividends because we found quite a lot of issues by going through absolute detail and highlighting those very, very early on before we really started the design process. Resourcing was a big issue, but was one of the issues that came out of that, and we managed to sort that out very early on, particularly in certain competencies with regards to the signaling side of it. So that was a real plus. Engineering assurance and peer reviews. So we'll come on to that in a little while. So because of the size of this job and the amount of interdisciplinary reviews we had to do, there was loads and loads of meetings, shed loads of meetings for this job. As a CRE team will know, those rooms there, I nearly hired them out for most of the period of time. And last of all, requirements management. There was over 250 particular specification requirements for this job on top of normal standards and processes. Okay, so all of those had to be managed, they had to be reported on, and any deviations from them had to be recorded as well in terms of technical queries or any other change as well. So we actually appointed a BIM manager for these works, and we provided a BIM strategy document as well, because we had to manage that very, very closely. And that paid dividends as well. And again, we're carrying that on through for most of our other projects as well. We're doing now in domestic renewals. Okay, as we mentioned earlier, loads and loads of interdisciplinary reviews, DCI meetings, IDCs and IDRs. And there you go, just to prove it. So I had to take some photographs because people were getting tired of all the meetings, but we had meetings after meetings. The amount of design time that we spent on this to get it right in terms of interdisciplinary reviews, and it paid dividends. Face to face, so important, as face to face meetings. So let's go through some of the disciplines now. Let's get a little bit interesting. So in terms of track, there's 30 units of S&C associated planning line, 28 concrete units with HPSS points operating equipment, 2 timber units, that's with mechanical hand points, that's in the DBS Shanker yard, 2 concrete fixed diamonds, 1,655 yards of unassociated planning line, 550 welds on this job. It's quite a lot of welds. 92 permanent joints, 19,000 tons of generated spoil, and 17,000 tons of ballast. And the line speed for this job maximum was 75 miles an hour. So that's a huge amount of stuff on there. There were 4 track general arrangement drawings required for this job due to the extent of it, and many other drawings as well. But in terms of GAs, there was 4 GAs which we had to manage. Double slip was part of the design as well. No alternative. We couldn't get around it any other way, so we had to put a double slip, which again formed one of the many over 40 derogations which were sought for in terms of this job. 2 fixed diamonds, as we said earlier, which caused quite a few problems in terms of vertical alignment for this job, and that comes on to the next slide there, long section. So as you can see up there, trying to get the vertical geometry here in terms of the fixed diamonds as well, going to the DB Shanker yard, it's fixed there as well. Very, very complicated, and the design team to their credit, took a lot of time and effort to get that right, and lots of reiterations to get the right vertical geometry there. Formation treatment as well. So TBIs, we had sand, geotextiles as well on this, geogrids, etc. Getting the cross falls right as well. It's quite a lot of to and fro on that as well, in terms of making sure that we had the right cross falls. So signaling, massive amount of correlation, and later on in the job we had to do additional correlation. We found a lot of non-compliances and a lot of issues in the Westbury area in terms of records that hadn't been updated, and that caused quite a few issues, didn't it? Really, looking at it now. So in all, 1,614 sheets of design, 500, 700 copies, test rig and through circuits, 200 to 300 sheets of correlation, and another first as well for Westbury South, which we are carrying on for our other projects as well, which is a 2D non-deliverable signaling model to aid interdisciplinary design integration, and that was another first for signaling in Swindon. So our signaling teams are now managing all of their logs, cables, cable management, all on a 2D drawing now, which sits into the master as well. That's rather than giving it all to the track team to put it in. It's actually being done by signaling, and that's a real bonus. That's really helped, and that's really helped the signaling teams as well, because there's a lot of stuff that they can work off of there to help with their cable management. 14 new location power cases and 20 new speed boards. So they are just highlighting again on this non-deliverable signaling model as well. So if you can see up there, so basically all of the cabling, the logs, everything is geospatially positioned on there by the signaling team, and also you can calculate all your cable lengths as well by using it on a 2D model, which is really beneficial in terms of rather than just counting it out on a normal signaling drawing. Okay. 25 signal signing forms, including 13 signals, and that made many of the meeting room allocations we had in there. There's quite a lot of meetings just to get that sorted out with gauging as well. That's quite an uphill struggle, but we got it done and sorted in the end. 14 new build locations and 22 existing locations with changes in those existing locations. Again, designed for every one of those new build locations and also for the changes in the existing locations as well. Cable management, that tells a story. So you can see the issues that we had with cables and managing those cables, hence the 2D non-deliverable signaling models that we're using as well to help manage that. So 15 kilometres of new cabling, 10 kilometres of recoveries, and over 500 metres of new troughing upgrade or troughing upgrades for it. But that is what we were faced with at Westbury. So it's just a lot of spaghetti. So for signaling as well, obviously it's 4 ends of HW2000, that's for the double slips, and 22 ends of the HPSS Mark II. Okay, and there were 4 hand points in the DB Shankly yard as well. Okay. Also for our signaling colleagues, there are alterations to signals display and control panels and to the maintenance panel as well. And there's also alterations to the train describer, as you can imagine. And there's a new route as well, which we designed as well, Whiskey 407. We use Siemens as well to do the train describer stuff, and obviously they were part and parcel of our interdisciplinary reviews as well. Key to this job was the S&C manufacture. 30 units of S&C, all had to be pre-delivered, all there ready for site before we started the Christmas blockade, which meant we had to start manufacturing S&C months and months before Christmas, which meant getting all the 150s signed and sealed and delivered before the final AFC was actually issued, which we've done through quite a lot of negotiation and discussion with the manufacturers, with the assurance team, with the RAM team, and with our own designers as well. So this comes from Progress, comes from Matt Edwards, probably most of you all know Matt Edwards anyway, so he'd done this little slide up for me. So critical planning, early production, improve the 1 to 50s, regular meetings. Again, we come back to the meeting scenario again with the project team. Delivery requirements, how that affected the supply chain, obviously, because it's concrete, double slips as well. We had some timber as well on there, and all the POE as well. So the HPSS Mark II, obviously that would have been down at Westbury team down there. Key logistical challenges with the storage of the concrete prior to assembly, road delivery challenges. Most of this all came by road as well, and you were probably part of the deliveries as well, Dan. Weekly meetings with the NR inspection team. That was upward progress, and loading teams to agree dates and sign off on the delivery of panels to the network rail modular loading pad site. There were quite a lot of issues around the HPSS Mark II with the underbearer pads, because we had a lot of underbearer pads on some of those layouts onto the tilting trains, but that was worked through with the SCO team. So in all, Progress Rail manufactured and delivered a total of 30 point ends and 79 plain line panels manufactured, assembled and delivered, most of them brought forward side the work at Christmas. So there we are. It goes between the two extremities we've got there. So you've got HPSS switch layout there, and then you've got the hand points, which is in the DB Schenker yard, and that where they were 8 points as well, by the way. So prefabrication and panel laydown areas. So having to deliver all this before the job was very, very challenging. So we had a laydown areas on either sides, the up and the down. We had some there as well, and I'll put them in a bit of detail in a minute now. It's hard to see that slide, it's not very clear. So build up and decking area there on the up yard, and that's what it looked like before. As you can imagine, all the maintenance stuff loaded, and that's what it looks like when the panels are starting to be delivered. Down yard again, that was even worse. You can see some of the stuff looking at the slide now, and that's what it looked like before. So we had to clear all that to make the lay down areas. And that's what it looked like when it was completed. Now I put that slide up there. That's how the panels had to be loaded. So all in sync, all ready to be taken off, all sits with the program of relaying in terms of the staging. We'll go through the staging in a minute now. So very, very complicated. All the pre-works to get all these layouts planned and sorted into the various bits and pieces where they or areas that they had to go in. Get one panel wrong, completely mess up the whole relaying program. So come on to staging in a minute, but engineering haulage, that was another big issue, not necessarily directly associated with the track side of things, but that's how everything had to go in. So those discussions started many months before Christmas. So we were allocated 6 trains for spoil, 4 trains for ballast, and 2 trains for scrap. We had those trains all the way through the 30-day blockade, and they were just absolutely recycled all the way through. So nothing went out, nothing came in. So all scraps were sent to the upyard material handling depot, where they were unloaded by DB. So that's in the DB yard from the previous slide. And then marshalled into a siding, ready for use on the next stage. Ballast trains were reloaded in the upsiding, virtual quarry. I've got some photographs in a minute, you can have a look at that. And there was 3 areas of hazardous spoil as well, which had to be identified separately and loaded into different wagons, okay? Because there's no facilities at Westbury to manage that, and they had to be taken away. So in total, 68 trains, it's a lot of trains, all managed. Some of the factors that to be considered for the engineering haulage, so noise restrictions in the yard. So on the down yard, there's a brand new housing estate gone in there now, you know, and they all moan about living next to the railway. I don't know why they moved there, but there you go. Luckily, sort of winter time, we didn't have too much dust issue there, but there was procedures in place in case we did. Rostering over the weekends and Christmas for the DB Schenker staff. They don't normally work weekends and Christmas in the yard, so we have to get them up and running. And the maximum quantity of ballast in the virtual quarry prior to and during the blockade. Don't forget, we had 17,000 tons of ballast here that we actually installed during the 30-day blockade. Nothing was coming in, going out, so we had to make sure we had a big enough pile. Got some pictures of that pile in a minute. Capacity to hold the spoil in the down yard. That's 19,000 tons of spoil as well. Get that taken away at some stage. and the hazardous oil had to be taken away from site. Okay. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. So there's our spoil pile there, massive great pile of spoil, and it just gives you an idea of the management of the wagons that we had to use going in and out to facilitate all of the different stages of this job. Keros played a massive part in this as well. Okay, so there's another photograph there, aerial photograph as well. So you can see that virtual quarry over there. It's a massive pile of ballast, and all that's come across from the other yard into this particular one here, as all part of the engineering haulage plan. So just quickly run through the stages. So there's basically two overall stages for delivery, stage 1 and stage 2. So basically stage 1 was really doing all the downside, and stage 2 was working on the up main and the upside. Okay. And of those stages, they were split into separate stages as well. 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, and 1G. I know Dan probably knows all those stages really well, because he was part and parcel of the process of implementation of those as well. Okay, so those are the stages. So just a few photographs as well from the track side of it. So obviously formation all 3D, probably been some 2D lasers up there just in case it all went wrong, the equipment failed on the 3D dozing. So there's a lot of dozing on here, sand, geotextile, what you would expect for this job, bottom ballast, so some quite wide areas as well, dozed using 3D. Some loose sleeper relaying as well. As I said, there was over 16,000 sleepers in all for this job. And again, Keros working there as well. Keros played a massive part in this job. I think they performed reasonably well, to be quite honest. Tamping, most of all of the S&C was parallel tamped using the tampers, the umbilical cord. Platform relay, we've done 70 meters of platform renewal as well, and about 70 meters of cobra adjustments we had to do as well. There are 25 stressing pools as well. So when I put the next slide up, I would imagine, well, Dan will say 550 welds. So 550 welds, 25 of those were stressing pools. So I've had to put some really tidy amount of management of those welds to make sure we didn't get a stressing one welded up. Because knowing what welders are like, I've imagined that was some tight management of that, to be quite honest. Huge amount of welds. So drainage, got a mark here, so I thought I'd better make sure we get some drainage as well. So I was speaking to Nigel a little bit earlier, and I was really pleased at the delivery of this job, because drainage is so much reporting failure of installation on track renewals, and this was a real good job in terms of drainage. Okay, so the drainage again was part of the design very early on, sat as a separate package of works, but included within the 30-day blockade. So the drainage works for Western and Wales sits in, as I said, sits in a separate package of works, but it was fully integrated with our domestic track renewal. All of the integration meetings, DCI meetings, also the drainage team, both design and construction, were part of all of those meetings. So we installed 2 UTXs and a double track UTX. There was 247 yards of drainage installed, 16 new catch pits, connecting T-piece installed, and 6 catch pits were refurbished. Okay, so I know you can't see too much of it there, but there's the drawing down there, just a bit of GA drawing as well on there. So got some pictures of the drainage work. So a lot of the existing catch pits that were refurbished, moved, or whatever, we used the rail mounted or the machine mounted vac machine, which is really good. That tends to be the machine of choice now. We've been through various different iterations of using vac systems, but this seems to be the one that Colas has almost certainly chosen as their favoured system. So there we are, some more pictures there of catch pits sucking out the ballast. The cross drain, one of the cross drains that's gone in there. We're very lucky with the blockade. We were able to, I presume, Dan, you probably up now, So a lot of track stuff went away. We let the drainage boys and girls come in and do the drainage works.
We had allocated time where we had excavated and scrapped out all the adjacent tracks. They just have a free rein to do whatever they need to do.
Yeah, excellent. And that's what you need every time to really get drainage work put in properly. You need that allocation of time to do the drainage work when everyone else is away, and you generally tend to always get it done. So there we go. There's a couple more photographs there. So there's a bit of a cross drain excavation there, and I've got that one up there as well because we had to have some special catch pits made, obviously, because a lot of the catch pits were built cast in situ or built in situ catch pits. We had to get them converted to some narrow catch pit rings, and these are actually made up. They're custom made by, I presume, Aqua. I presume would have done them normally. I think it was probably Aqua that fabricated them for us. They do it on a regular basis, and you could actually see it in situ there how it all works. So that's really good. Martin can't be with us tonight, but I have to mention civils because there's quite a bit of civils work that we've done on this. So as we mentioned earlier, in terms of platforms, so we had 70 metres of coper adjustments, platform resurfacing, laying 65 metres of platform tactile paving, installation of 10 coper supporting brackets. So some of the copers, the overhang was too much, so we actually had some supporting brackets underneath, so we could extend the overhang, save doing anything to the platform wall, albeit here I don't think we've been able to do that anyway because it was a different type of platform construction. We installed 2 wraps as well, and also some troughing protection as well. So I think I've got another photograph of that. There you go. So that was the wraps that we got in there. So quite a nice bit of work done there by the teams as well. E&P, unfortunately, Martin Smith was going to be here as well, but we've got a picture as well to help us out with the E&P D&O. We won't mention the D&O just yet. Okay. Always have trouble with DNOs because we're dealing with people we've got no control over, unfortunately. But there was some DNO stuff that we had to sort out there, out of our control, but it still hasn't been sorted yet. But we've had to manage what we've got on there. So in terms of E&P, there's quite a lot of E&P works that we've done here. So we've got an FSP installed, some new transformers, 5 new transformers, new PHCC. We've done 2 PHCC existing mods. There's 11 trackside connection boxes, 22 new point heating transformers, point heating strips obviously throughout, 96 of those, and 5 kilometres of new cable installed for the E&P as well. Okay. Now, in terms of E&P, so I've got an aerial photograph again, so I don't know if you can see it, but we've actually got, if you use my cursor up there, so we had a lot of issues, obviously trying to find a source for the power for the point heating. So there is a route that we found that goes all the way around here, which is being installed by another project, coming all the way down here up onto the track side, which would have provided all the power. So I'll go straight to a picture. What's the latest on that now? It's a brief over. Yeah.
Substation.
Yeah, which is up here.
The opposite side. So that is a pole mounted transformer location.
Yeah.
For which we did not get a radius. So on the opposite side, there's an existing substation which is currently feeding the existing DNO.
Yeah.
So we proposed to put the new substation next to the existing substation. So that location is finally been updated by S&C, but there's a problem with the land because it's double leased because Everson have leased it to TB Shankar. Yeah. And TB Shankar now need to lease it to S&C.
Yeah, I know. So there you go.
There's a bit of a work which is ongoing at the moment in the background between the properties team and our project management team.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. So again, we're all ready to go. Everything done, connected. We're just waiting for others again to get stuff sorted out. So
one thing which needs to be noted that at the moment the system is running on partial heating as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because we couldn't connect to the
yeah. So So unfortunately, that's probably the only outstanding thing we've had from the whole Westbury delivery, to be quite honest. And it's just unfortunate. It's others that we don't have control over that, you know. So everything within our control, we've managed to sort out. So, okay, can't leave without this. There was 60 hours wheel-free testing time on it. The amount of routes, as you can imagine, in Westbury, it's phenomenal. So as well as all the other testing that was done by our testing team, there was 60 hours wheels-free testing, purely for testing all the routes. A massive testing and commissioning plan, which was done by Volkers. It was Volkers, wasn't it? Trackworks, sorry, Trackworks had done the testing for us on that as well. So I need to mention that as well. So it just gives an indication of the amount of change of work that we've done there at Westbury. So I'm hoping, Constantine, that I've got a little video to put on here as well now. So I was just hoping that this is going to work. But if it doesn't work, we'll get it sorted out in a minute. I'll get it on here. So bear with me. I'll go back down on here to try and get us going now. So we did get it going a little bit earlier. Yeah. Can read all that while I'm sorting this out now. Just bear with me. I'll get sorted.
We're here at Westbury. It's a very important junction at Westbury. It's where the West of England main line crosses with the key route between Cardiff and Portsmouth. It's important that we get this job done, and we've been given 30 days to renew the whole of the junction on the south side and make the track resilient and durable for the next, hopefully, 25 to 30 years.
So it's a 30 S&C unit job, including 28 point ends and 2 fixed diamonds. We've also got a double slip going into the downsiding. It comprises of 217 panels in total to install. We also have 2 lengths of conventional plain line renewal, which are through platform 2 and also on the up main of the ways. We're installing 2 permanent wraps, a single wrap on the head shunt and a double wrap across the up and down main on the way.
From a passenger's perspective, the layout that we're installing here is actually slightly enhanced. There are elements of it that see speed increases across the junction. But the main thing really, I'd say from a passenger experience point of view, is the renewal of the life expired track that we've got here. The Westbury station area itself sees a lot of traffic over it, heavy freight traffic. It's life expired. Our maintenance teams have to come out regularly to remedy faults, which has an impact in terms of the kind of operational service that passengers get to enjoy. So a renewed asset means that actually there'll be far less of that. So the travelling public and the freight users that will benefit from the renewed upgrade should see that benefit manifest in that way.
One thing we've been very good on is our points protocol. So as you can see, the Tildorns in the background, every set of points has a Tildorn, front and back. We've also adopted the DCP process, which means every route must be walked by the designated competent person before passing any RRV, OTMs or trains through that set of points.
We've typically got about 100 staff per shift, and we've got a huge supply base on site, including Colas Rail Services. We've got our Kirov 1200, and we've got our Colas fleet of tampers that are going to put the final alignment and geometry in readiness for us to hand back. And the supply chain, there's too many to mention, but they know who they are.
Okay, so that was really it. Just a couple of accommodations there. The one I thought was quite interesting really was from Matt Edwards, really, from Progress Rail. So this is, in terms of Progress Rail, as he says, it's one of the most complicated projects we've ever manufactured. and delivered due to the many layers of additional complication that we had to solve. And we did this with early engagement with the project team, internal stakeholders and other key suppliers. So it's quite interesting coming from Matt as well. So Matt's very experienced in terms of S&C manufacturing and assembly. So I thought that's quite key really in terms of the deliverability of this job really in terms of how big it actually was and getting all that stuff to site for the actual 30-day blockade as well. Work went into that in terms of the pre-delivery, the piles of panels ready to go in on the blockade. So go back up to the start again. That goes back up to the start or not? Probably not. That does. Okay. So if there are any questions or queries, I can go back to some of the slides on here if we need to.
For those of you online, I forgot to say at the start, if you want to drop any questions in the chat, we can pick them up. I've not seen any on there. Hopefully I'm still connected. But yeah, first off, can I have a round of applause for and if anybody's got any questions, please raise your hand and go ahead. That's pretty comprehensive though.
Don't be shy. Mark.
Thanks, Adrian. That was a pretty good answer through the key details. Just one thing that you better, you don't vote once in.
Oh, really? Okay, right.
More like the previous thing.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fantastic and by the weekhold. But yeah, great. The 550 work, I appreciate the work.
It was, yeah. Yeah. So I've been on reasonably large jobs before with a lot of welds, and I just know how hard it is to manage those welds with all the different teams of welders working. And no, those are stress welds. Don't touch them. You know, very difficult. So that's amazing that how that was managed in terms of stress. So that's good. And thank you for that. Yeah.
No questions.
No questions. So that's either good or bad. I don't know really. Yeah. No. But,
or maybe it's the time of day.
yeah, could well be.
Okay, right, that's fine. We don't have to do questions. It's not compulsory.
Good.
So thanks to those of you online for sticking with us. Sorry we had no camera today. We've got a bit of an emergency setup. Thanks everyone for coming. If you're not a member and you want to join, there are different levels. You don't have to be professionally registered. You can join as a normal member. Just go online, have a look. Loads of CPD. I mean, the PWI YouTube channel where all of this gets uploaded to is just full of stuff to watch. Anything you might be interested in, it's probably on there. We are a railway engineering institution, and the topics that we cover in our CPD are wide and varied. There'll be something in there: sustainability, signalling, you name it, it will be there. And if you've got a suggestion, something you want us to do in this section, please come, get in touch. Contact details on the website. Sean knows me, Adrian knows me. There'll be people who know us. Reach out and get in touch. And if you want to come and speak and present something even better, we're always looking out for new speakers. So this has been quite a good one for me as well, because like Sean and I, we're like the OG of S&C Renewals going back to the early 2000s. And I recognise quite a few faces in the room, people who are around that era as well. So for me, going back looking at S&C Renewals, especially something this big and sexy, it's great. I don't get to look at that stuff anymore, so I really enjoyed that. I think we'll call it a day there.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, thanks. Cheers.